When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. If you want to get access to any of my early content, check out the Discord. This is the bargain between an evil god and a villain, part 17. Let's continue where we last left off in our story. As a very familiar green-haired woman was cleaning the kitchen with her husband out of town for a while because of work, and her son gone doing whatever he does. It's been a while since she's had a last victim, so she has plenty of time to kill tonight to pick up someone that catches her fancy. After the kitchen was clean, leaving no dirt or dust to be seen, Inko begins to sharpen the knife that she used earlier, examining the sharpness of her knife, and place it where the knife belongs in her kitchen. Give me a second, guys. Alright, we got that out of the way. Let's continue. Then she immediately went into her room. As she approached the old bookshelf, she gently pulled it one of the books halfway, as there was a clicking noise as the bookshelf separated, revealing a one-person elevator. She stepped inside the elevator door and closed. As the bookshelf begins to close back up, the one-person elevator begins to descend downwards. As the elevator door opened up, revealing a medium-sized room that is used to keep all of her tools and items she used on her victims. Not even her husband knows about this addition to the house. Inko slowly undressed and began to put on something more appropriate. When she's doing her daily, when she's hunting, after she fully put on her hunting gear and placed a white blank mask over her face, she slowly walked over to the weapon storage area of the room on the side of the wall. There are different types of weapons on display, from knives to swords to kunai and throwing stars. And on the other side of the room, in a separate display on the opposite side of the wall, this is a complete dedicated area filled with firearms, handguns, shotguns, rifles, and a couple sniper rifles. She briefly traced her fingers over one of the guns. I won't have a use for you tonight, but a girl can't be too careful. As she placed one of the smaller firearms in place of the holster inside her jacket pocket, Inko walked over towards the large metal cabinet and opened the doors, revealing a display of different types of masks, of blank masks, in all different types of colors. Inko sent a short text to Izuku telling him she's going to be working late. Dinner is in the refrigerator. Already made, he just needs to heat it up. Izuku, who is still at the underground fights, checked his phone briefly. He saw he got a text from his mother several hours ago. He was unaware Inko was closer than he thinks. Inko is a common face, or mask, at this bar. She takes parts in many of the fights. So naturally, she took part in it. Many tournaments. Naturally, she took part in this tournament as well, in a separate bracket. It's a good way to earn some money, after all. She has mouths to feed. And this is her hunting ground. For her future victims, after all, she is a serial killer. Is killing two birds with one stone. Inko is currently on the Battleground 2, the second cage arena, in the bar, underneath the main level of the bar, where Izuku is doing his matches. Inko did not pay attention to the matches. They were all small fry, none of them piqued her interest. Inko's code name was announced over the intercom to begin to take part in her first match. As she goes by Phantom. When she's out interacting with villains and criminals, it's just more convenient that way. Inko slowly entered the main hallway, leaving from the back area directly into the cage arena. Her opponent was already waiting for her. He was a well-built man. By what she can see, he keeps in good shape, judging by his posture. He's simply been trained, either in some form of martial art, or he has background in the military, judging by the dog collar around his neck. Inko approached the man. Then the match immediately began. Her opponent instantly charged and threw out his fist towards Inko. Inko wasn't sure what her opponent was thinking. He wasn't even in striking range. The moment his fist was thrown out, a burst of fire shot through the man's fist, flying towards Inko, who was surprised initially. But because of her blank white mask she's wearing, it was hiding her facial expressions. She immediately rolled out of the way from the burst of fire shooting towards her. As another punch was thrown at her, as another burst of fire came soaring through the air. Inko was prepared for it. This time, she caught the stream of fire by surrounding it in a psychic bubble, then redirected the flame right back at her opponent. He wasn't expecting his own fire attack to be shot right back at him, as he immediately rolled out of the way, dodging the wave of fire by his own fire. But despite the unexpected counter attack, he didn't get angry. He kept his cool. He was mostly uninjured. He was more intrigued, if anything else. Anger was never a factor in this battle. He immediately charged, changing tactics, and tried to throw out an orb-like fireball from his palm and kicks. Inko materialized a psychic barrier, as the pure psychic energy barrier was invisible to the naked eye, but you could see it in like milliseconds. Other people might have trouble seeing her psychic energy, but she could see it clearly as she watches her psychic barrier block the incoming fire attack from her opponent's palm and feet. Inko has been analyzing her opponent. She's never seen anyone use fire like that. It's very unique. It's a very unique way of fighting with a fire quirk. But despite that, he's not really all that impressive. Flashy, but no power. Pathetic in her eyes. Before her opponent could continue the assault, Inko teleported and re-teleported in mid-air right in front of him and slammed her foot across his face with a powerful psychic infused kick, causing a burst of psychic energy to make impact onto the man, sending the man slamming into the metal cage of the arena as he was ricochet off of the metal cage and hit the ground hard. Inko took out several kunais from inside of her black jacket and tossed them in the air while her opponent is still trying to recover. When he finally recovered from that vicious kick, he found himself surrounded by very sharp floating kunai, being controlled by Inko psychically, hovering and surrounding him on all sides. Inko bolted forward towards her opponent, engaging him in hand-to-hand combat, while her physical controlled or psychic controlled kunai start to fly downwards. Inko easily engaged her opponent in hand-to-hand combat while avoiding her own kunai that are flying through the air at her opponent at the same time. She caught one of the kunai with the round ring with her finger and effortlessly and gracefully began to dodge and weave around his attacks, and block a brass knuckle fist with the flat end of her kunai. The force of the kunai was hit with from the brass knuckles sent Inko skidding backwards a tad bit. Inko had her floating kunais depress the attack, not giving him a chance to counterattack. Inko finally saw an opening. The speed she used was unnatural, as she moved like a viper, waiting to strike. She managed to get right behind him without him realizing it, and catching another flying kunai that flew by, caught in the ring hilt of the kunai, spinning around, twirl it in her ring, or twirl it around her finger, then slammed the kunai in the back of his skull, then using her other kunai to slit his throat. As the rest of her kunai dug into the man's chest, making him like a pincushion. As the man falls down to the ground dead. On the ground was a single mental command. All of the kunai was yanked out of the man's body and float right back into their holster inside her black jacket. As she turned around and walked away, she exited, going back to the waiting area for the rest of the competitors to have their shot at their matches. As the staff began to drag the dead body off and get the cage ready for another match, Inko was quite proud of her performance. Inko has some time before she gets called again for her second match, so she begins to clean her kunai. That's inside her pouch, or inside her jacket, in a pouch. Meanwhile, on Battle Arena 1, the second set of matches were about to begin. Izuku is waiting patiently for the second rounds of battles to begin, and judging by the number of competitors that are still in the tournament, there's going to be plenty of matches. He's already noted the heavy hitters in the tournament, but the rest of the competitors are just fodder, small fry. Oh, yes, I almost forgot Spooky. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but this tournament usually have two separate brackets. What do you mean, second bracket? This tournament has two separate battle arena. We're in Battle Arena 1. The second battle arena is below us, a level down, actually. When the number starts to cut down, the two brackets will most likely be facing each other. I wouldn't get too comfortable. So we have no idea what the skill level of the second competitors in this second bracket. Precisely, it keeps things interesting. Wouldn't you agree? Another opponent more opponents that will definitely spice things up a little bit, River. Thanks for the most interesting intel. No problem. I should have told you earlier. It's on the house. And I should also mention, they probably won't be doing the entire tournament in one night. We probably got one more round of matches before they pause the tournament until tomorrow night. Luckily for me, I have a couple of days off. The boss lady is hell of a slave driver. Makes sense, the size of this tournament. It's quite large and highly illegal. Makes sense for an underground tournament such as this to go through multiple nights. That, my friend, is the best kind, judging by all the chatter. I think we're about to start the second bracket fight. Or the next round of fights, basically. As a woman's voice could be heard over the intercom, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, I hope you've been enjoying yourself this evening. Unfortunately, we're going to have to postpone the rest of the tournament until tomorrow night. I do apologize for any inconvenience. We're closing up early. Hope you all have a good rest of your night. Well, that's interesting. What's interesting? They don't normally close this place up so early. That could only mean something interesting is going on, or this place is about to be raided, at least the church, about to be raided by heroes. Either way, I'm probably heading home. I'll see you tomorrow night, Mr. Spooky. As River begins to make his way out of the bar and towards the exit, leading back into the abandoned church. Apex approach. You better be here tomorrow night. I don't like being stood up. I don't plan to miss the rest of this tournament. It's more beneficial if I continue this little fighting tournament. Good. Nice work, by the way, in your last match. It was my only match so far. Doesn't change the skill. I know what you did in that first match. A nice show of force to display your dominance. What can I say, Apex? I'd like to make an impact. You have a good rest of your night, I have no doubt. I'll see you tomorrow night. Izuku waved her off as he begins to walk towards the exit. Izuku did not notice on his way out of the bar. He caught the attention of two of the other competitors. Alex was keeping an eye on Grimm with his normal vicious grin. After that last display, Alex is looking forward to have his match against Grimm immensely. He has no doubt he'll be lucky enough. He won't be lucky enough to get paired with him in the first match tomorrow night. You know, there's plenty of small fry he has to kill off before he gets a chance to fight Grimm. Meanwhile, Scarlet Gaze was completely different. She kept a close eye on Grimm ever since his first match. She felt something different about him. Doesn't know what yet. She narrowed her eyes down upon his shadow. She could feel something's there, ancient, aware, powerful. She briefly saw an image of Zelik, looking into her eyes, displaying a vicious grin, displaying all his very sharp teeth, as Zelik dove deeper into Izuku's shadow, disappearing from her sight. Despite her blank face, Scarlet is very interested in Izuku and his shadow. It feels different from other people. Everyone's shadow has a certain feeling to it. And Izuku and Grimm's shadow was completely foreign to her. Like an alien. Like an alien foreign, basically. Grimm's shadows seem to be living. They move on their own, like they're living, pulsing. She's always got a feeling from certain people in their shadows. But eventually, she made her way out, following Grimm, keeping a good amount of distance between them. And Alex wasn't too far behind, with his hands in his jacket pocket. Once the three exit the church, all three of them went their separate ways. Scarlet briefly watched Grimm enter a hallway or alleyway. When she followed, he was gone. Izuku stepped out of the shadow portal back into his base, or his villain lair. He began to place his villain gear back into the rack, onto the rack, where he sets all his equipment on, and got back into his normal clothes and portaled back to his room. It's quite late. Walking through the front door would make him have to answer questions he doesn't want to answer right now. He went to bed shortly afterwards. The next morning, he did his normal routine, exercising, running around the neighborhood, making breakfast, eating breakfast, getting dressed for school. On his way to school, he noticed a new building that wasn't there yesterday. It was a large skyscraper, about the same size of the other skyscrapers in the area. But what made this skyscraper stand out was some sort of symbol on the building. And under the symbol, in broad letters, it simply said Quark Suppress Force, or for short, QSF. Be careful, partner. That's the symbol of the Holy Church. They have already established a power base, and I have no doubt by now they got their hands in that, in all sorts of things. That means they probably have members in that government of yours. Lydia clearly works fast. She's always been a crafty one, even for a mortal. Be wary. The next time they strike is going to be with a lot more force compared to the last time. Agreed. Izuku continued on his way to school. as he can't do much about the Holy Church right now, or look into this Corp Suppress force. They're not the immediate danger, the League of Villains are. But for now, he'll remain his normalcy. He'll act like the same mannered, nice guy he is, as he betrays in the public eye. It didn't take him long to finally approach school. Izuku displayed his normal friendly expression at the two security guards in front of the gate of this private school he attends. He went through the normal routine, doing a check to make sure he doesn't have anything that's not supposed to be in school. Once he passed through the security check, he made his way to his first class of the day. He attended class after class. Nothing really important happened. Sometime after school ended, he was in the student council president room, going through the documents. He began to arrange everything for some upcoming school events that's going to happen in a few months. He stood up from his desk and walked over to the window with his hands behind his back. The rest of the school council members of the school council has already left and went home. He's the last one remaining. You know, there's something in the distance, just outside the school gates, to the side. There seemed to be a gathering of students. Izuku decided to take a closer look. He immediately noticed when he got close enough, there was some sort of scuffle between a bunch of his fellow classmates, fighting against some other students from another school, a rival school, most likely, as he chuckled at the amusement of the whole thing. The school might be a private school, but it doesn't mean they don't have delinquents on both sides. Izuku got a closer look. Not too close to get involved, but close enough to observe. Izuku was very unimpressed by the street fight. They're just a bunch of civilians with no actual power. Izuku's eyes narrowed when he saw several of the delinquents from the other school pull out switchblades. That's when he moved. He moved so fast that no one even noticed. Before the delinquent could use a knife on one of the other students, he grabbed his wrist, stopping his wrist from going any further in a firm but powerful grip. That's quite enough. The students from his school immediately noticed him. Council President Izuku. Greeting, boys. Now you bastard, I'm going to kill you. Get your hands off me? Highly doubt that. Izuku moves slightly above normal human speed, so he doesn't attract any unwanted attention, and slammed his palm into his chest. As he let go of his wrist, as he sent him flying into a nearby tree, Izuku calmly picked up the switchblade that was dropped from his hand when Izuku struck him in the chest with his palm. You see, I wasn't going to interfere in your little scruffle here, but you just had to pull blades. There are rules, no weapons, only hand-to-hand combat. That's why I've always looked the other way between your two groups' activities. Izuku displayed a smile, far from being gentle. There was no warmth behind it, behind that smile. And you, my fellow classmates, colleagues, smart of you not to copy such behavior. At least students from our school don't lower themselves to such level. You may leave. I'll deal with these lot, personally. The students from the same school scattered, leaving the delinquent from their rival school to Izuku's mercy. Even the leader of this group of delinquents has always told them to stay away from Izuku Midoriya. He's dangerous, despite his charming and friendly manner. You're lucky, very lucky, that you're not from my school. Such behavior would be corrected, most likely painfully. But I can't let you all go scot-free without no consequences. Without no consequences. It makes me look bad. So I will only harm half of you. Wait, we get it. Izuku didn't give them a chance to save themselves by pleading. He appeared right next to one of them and grabbed one of them by his hair and slammed his face into his knee, then palm strike him into the chest, send him flying into another tree. Izuku did not use any of his abilities, no quirk, even though his quirk is far from being a quirk by now. His power don't follow the same rules anymore. He could feel it, but he's not going to show anything in his normal day as a civilian. No actual devastating moves, just average street brawling. He displayed the necessary amount of strength and speed and began to take down each of the delinquents viciously but very calculated in each strike. Each movement had a purpose. Because of so much damage, he can dish out without breaking their bones. Using a little bit above normal human strength, it didn't take him long to take out half of the group, leaving the rest of them completely fine, not a scratch on them. And this whole time Izuku never was hit once, not from any of the delinquents. He was too fast for them to even counterattack. Izuku wiped the blood from one of the unconscious delinquents with his shirt, wiping the blood off of his knuckles. Now boys, pick up your injured comrades and get out of my territory. Otherwise, the rest of you will need to go see a hospital. I don't think you want that, do you? Now get out of my sight. The delinquents did not challenge him. They only nodded, grabbed their passed out friends, and ran off. My. That is quite interesting display there. As Alex stepped from the shadow of one of the trees, with his hands in his pocket, giving his usual vicious grin. You handled those weaklings pretty well, and I could tell you weren't even trying. And you are? Where's my manners? I'm Alex. What about you, green hair? Izuku? You look really familiar, like I've seen you before. I just can't place my finger on it. Sorry to disappoint, but we've never met. Alex. You're probably right. I'm just probably mistaking you for someone else. Doesn't really matter. I happened to be in the neighborhood and I saw your little display. Speaking of that, Alex did not give any warning. He attacked, rushing forward, swinging his fist towards Izuku. Izuku stopped his punch by using the palm of his hand. Once Alex's fist made contact with Izuku's palm of his hand, a small gust of wind was created. Fascinating. You're better than I thought. Stronger, too. And judging by that block, you just successfully landed on me. You're clearly holding back. I could say the same thing about you. You got me there. Shall we kick up a notch? This is starting to get interesting, on borderline being fun. Very well, let's see what you got. Izuku stepped backwards a few steps, giving him enough room from Alex to counterattack whatever attack he tries to do. Izuku's hands and knuckles start to be covered in a layer of bone, not covering his entire hand, only covering the parts that is used to make a fist. As his knuckles and hands started to get ready for hand-to-hand combat, Alex noticed the bone beginning to form on top of Izuku's fingers and knuckles. Then he immediately activated his quirk as a burst of electricity emanated from his body. As he started to channel his electricity into himself, giving him a boost speed, strength, and charge forward like a flash of light, appearing right in front of Izuku, throwing a fist and throwing a fast and devastating spin kick. Izuku ducked under the spin kick, then snapped up and caught him with an elbow strike in his chest, only for Alex to leap backwards, then immediately leap forward, charging once again, throwing punches and kicks. Izuku easily kept track by dodging every attack at this current level. Izuku did not expect to come across Alex so soon, but this is a good opportunity to gauge his skill level, so he knows what to expect when he probably fights him in the arena. But luckily, Alex hasn't connected the two dots, who he really is. He's still unaware that Grimm and Izuku Midoriya are the very same. Their fists collided as wind and electricity radiated from their fists, releasing both at the same time, pushing them back. This is the best battle I've had in a while. I'm having fun as well. Let's continue this somewhere else. I highly doubt you want any interruptions. This battle will definitely attract the locals' attention. Agreed. I know a perfect place just outside the city. We could let loose there. I want to warm up before tonight. Luckily for you, you're my victim, I mean sparring partner. Izuku only gave him a nod and followed him. Where the school is located at is near the edge of the city, so the walk wasn't very long. Once they stepped out the city limits, they followed a pathway into a dense woods, eventually leading him to a very large, wide field, plenty of space for battle. Traces of battle scars could be seen nearby, all across the entire field, from past battles. Judging by the scars of battle around us, you come here often? Pretty much. This is where I go, usually, to have my fights or training. Far enough from the city, so the heroes and cops won't get involved. And the natural landscape is too spread out wide, so no forest, no No trees will catch fire. No forest fires here. Even though this is woods. But regardless. You are one of rare people that have seen this place. But enough about that. Let's see how good you really are. When you have no excuse for holding back. No civilians get in the way. No heroes to interfere. No property damage can be caused. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Alex didn't need any invitation. He charged forward, flashing with electricity. Izuku met him halfway. As they began to exchange blows with each other, Alex landed several electric-infused punches and kicks. Izuku could only feel a slight numbness when Alex landed his attacks, but he immediately countered with a devastating blow that surprised Alex. He never knew he was this strong. Just with his physical power alone. But luckily he coated his body with a thin layer of electric, kind of like a electric barrier, to absorb majority of the strength from the strikes that that Izuku managed to land. The thin layer of his barrier, electric barrier, is way too thin to be seen by the naked eye, but it glows briefly for a brief nanosecond every so often. Izuku backed off, noticing his attacks that he thought he landed successfully, that didn't go through all the way. He felt something off. The usual display of power, what his fists can create, seems to be blocked by some sort of unknown barrier. Izuku finally noticed the invisible layer of electricity covering his body. It had a slight glow for a brief nanosecond, then disappear, but he noticed. Izuku re-engaged with Alex, landing several attacks, moving faster than he previously displayed, trying to see if there's any weak spots. Izuku had to block a incoming infused fist of pure electricity from Alex as he crossed his arms and blocked the attack, sending him backwards a few inches. As much as I would love to continue this before things get dangerous, we probably will stop it here. After all, I can't get injured. Not yet, at least. We'll call this good for now. Thanks for the warm-up, though. I have no doubt we'll definitely see each other again. Later, Izuku. As Alex left through the deep woods, leaving Izuku alone. I might not have seen everything, what he can do, but something's better than nothing. Izuku made his way out of the woods. Once he got back to the city limits, he went directly home to get changed and cleaned up, prepare for tonight's set of matches in the underground tournament at the church. A smirk formed on his face. Things are getting very interesting indeed, as he continued to walk towards the direction of his house. Alex is dangerous, there's no doubt about that, but at the same time, he's looking forward to their match, if they were ever to face each other in the ring. And that's where we're going to stop it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next part.